Welcome back. Filipino geeks are doing their part in helping people deal with nature's hazards. Just last week, developers joined and participated in the first Philippine Tech Camp, which deals with harnessing technology to mitigate disaster risks and empowering non-government organizations and local governments to make communities resilient to climate change. The Tech Camp culminated in a weekend hackathon where developers built a number of apps, such as making properties structurally sound, simulating scenarios of floods in different municipalities, and monitoring trees and watersheds. The Tech Camp was organized by the U.S. State Department in partnership with international aid agencies, Globe Labs, Google Developers Group, and Open Data Philippines. And with us in the studio, Michelle Santos, Developer Relations Manager of Globe Labs. We also have one of the winners of the weekend hackathon from Team DE, correct? Team DE, Marketing Officer Justin Noel Goodale. Hi, Michelle and Justin. Welcome to the show. All right, Michelle, tell us first about the first Philippine Tech Camp. I mean, with Globe Labs, you guys have done many, projects in the past. But what sets this apart, and why call it the first ever Philippine Tech Camp?
Okay. The Tech Camp is a program under the U.S. State Department, and we got the caller partnership with the U.S. Embassy here in the Philippines that they would like to have this this workshop first ever here. It's actually the 36th around the world, but because of what happened from last year, they would like to somehow try to solve the problem of disaster risk reduction rather than response. So in partnership with the USAID, U.S. Embassy in the Philippines, U.S. Department of State, World Food Program, Globe Telecom, of course, Google Developers Group, and Open Data. So we have this. So there's actually 4 days of this.
Okay.
The first day was the first 2 days is May 5 and 6. This is the workshop, the ideation workshop, with several NGOs, LGUs from the provinces of Misamis Oriental, Lanao del Sur.
So these are people presenting their real-world problems.
Yes.
That they're seeking help from you guys.
Yes, with the technology.
Developers.
Yep.
Okay. What was that like? What was those 2 days like? I mean, I can imagine a lot of developers. They don't always all focus on these kind of things.
Yeah.
So they don't get exposed to these kind of people who deal with advocacies in this kind of work. What is the whole experience like?
Oh wow. When we the usual work for us is we do marketing, we help businesses, but this is the first time that we actually work on helping the LGUs in the Philippines.
Okay.
So in terms of the experience, it's just awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we just hope to have this application release and start helping these LGUs.
All right, let's jump to that. I mean, you mentioned it already that you do have an app. You made this app. You were second in the competition. Tell us about how you. I mean, of all the things that was discussed, I'm sure there was a whole slew of things that you could, and as well the topics that are covered in the 2 days. You could pick from so many different things. What did you want to focus on, and what did you eventually execute in your app that you made in a few days' time?
So my partner and I, Theodore Gonzalez, created the iOS application. Yeah, and what we did is all you have to do is give the application to the LGU surveyor.
Okay.
Check out their structures. For example, it's basically answering the questions: do you see any cracks on your buildings?
All right.
Was there any immersion of water? How about were there any kind of overloading in the building? So these are the things that we try to answer within the app.
Okay.
And the beautiful part is what we did is we created a narrative report, a detailed narrative report automatically. These narrative reports usually take around at least a week, if not longer.
To put together.
Yes,
Okay.
right. And with our app, it will only take you like 5 minutes tops.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a checklist.
Yeah. So that will save so much time because you can imagine that that's part of their jobs. I mean, these LGUs in I can imagine the engineering departments of the cities and the municipalities and provinces, they go around, they look at different things, but to collate the data from that part to execution to actually giving their summaries and their suggestions to the provincial or the NDRMC or the provincial disaster response unit, it takes time, no?
That's right.
So that was the problem that you noticed that could really help them a lot.
Yeah.
So how does this work? There's a bit of an algorithm here that just picks up the certain points that need to be plugged in into a phrase that you put together.
That's right. We have a growing algorithm.
Okay.
And my partner Ted happens to be a civil engineer,
Okay.
so he knows
Cool.
to check these checklists.
May ano na siya.
Yeah, advantage.
May advantage
Right.
na. So we have a bit of a demo actually. We brought one of the
Ted.
Oh, that's Ted. Hi, Ted. Okay, hello, Ted. We were talking about you. Okay, so Ted can walk us through a bit. Show us a bit, Ted, of how the app is, and you've got a camera right behind you, so don't mind. They'll shoot you. Don't worry.
Okay. So initially, you will add a property. For example, any infrastructure. So when you click Add Property, you will enter the name of the property.
There you go.
Okay. So for example, beach house.
Okay.
Then you can click this beach house, and you can answer the different questions that affects the.
So it's all there.
hazard.
It's like a checklist.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's like a
it's just put there. Okay.
Yeah, there are different factors affecting the structural integrity, but we tried to make it simple and divided it into different hazards.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, the time hazard, you simply input the date of completion of construction, then the recent structural inspection.
Okay.
Then for construction hazard, yeah, simple as saying what is the original number of stories in the building, and if there is an overloading or something that is not part of the original plan.
Great.
And we've also added fire hazards. So if your structure is ready for fire, for example, you have an available fire exit or fire extinguisher there. So after you fill up the important hazards, you can simply click the button here.
Okay.
If you clicked it, it will give you a link and create a detailed report.
All right.
So here is a sample.
So that's
of
what it's
the
going to look like. Wow.
that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
you-
instantly, in did you say minutes?
Around
Right?
5
You said minutes, right?
I know.
I'm double checking because first it takes a few days, but this is minutes
Yes.
to put together. So thanks for the demo, Ted. So, how helpful is this? When you presented, obviously you were one of the top winners. How helpful is this for the people on the ground to really, get this information as fast as possible to be able to assess what they need to fix, condemn, whatever it is, before the storms come?
From feedback from
Sure,
the
yeah, go
judges.
ahead. Yeah, exactly. Yung
sorry.
nga naman. Ang naman yun, itatayo niyo sa rin yung bangko. Sige, okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so from feedback from the panel of judges
Okay.
and even from the people from the USA, they value the app they created because it's very intuitive.
Right.
You quickly just tap on it. Let's say this is ready for fire exit.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a fire exit. There's some kind of constructional damage or something. So it's very intuitive, and they even a feedback of it's easy to roll out. Yeah, so it's almost ready. I mean, they just need to somehow filter more information because the initial cities for this implementation will be Iligan and Cagayan
Cagayan de Oro.
So there a little bit fixes and tweaks, but it's almost ready.
All right, and any technical limitations of version of an iOS device, or how accessible is it for the people who maybe have older iPads or iPhones?
So we created this using for iOS.
Okay.
The current version, 6 and 7.
Okay.
But yeah, so we believe that everyone else has updated their iOS versions.
Right.
So we believe that as soon as this is pushed out,
Yep.
they'll be able to use it as soon as
Great.
possible.
Well, we can't wait to hear the good stories that these are starting to help save communities and help save lives as well. Thanks for joining us. We've
Thank
had
you.
more time
Yes.
to talk more about this, but definitely when you have more projects like this, do come back and bring
Yes,
us
we
our
will.
new heroes. They're
Yes,
not on the
they
field,
are.
but they're in their labs and then behind their computers doing all the great stuff. So Ted, Justin, Michelle, thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you.
And folks, those are the latest news alerts for this hour. I'm TJ Manoto. For more updates, check out our website, anc.yahoo.com. You can also follow ANC Alerts on Twitter and like our Facebook page, ANC 24/7. Stay tuned for Top Story. That's coming up next here on ANC.